What's happening, folks? Man, you'd think I'd be ready for these joints as many as I've done. Um, Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm sure you can. I assume you can. I wanted to go through just a couple Amazon deals that I found. I am not an expert this year around. I've been kind of busy and occupied and not being productive at the same time, but I still wanted to look at some deals and kind of talk with you guys and like chop it up. My wife was supposed to be here. Then she remembered she had a meeting. So I'm dolo with 4 kids doing a live stream, but got some juice. So that's a good look. I came across a couple interesting deals that caught my eye. Did you guys buy anything already? Did anything catch you where you just like, man, that's too good to pass up? Did you have anything in mind to buy and now it's cheaper, which caused you to buy? On another note, you may notice my finger looks a little weird. I busted it up trying to kill a wasp in my house. And I actually haven't gone to the doctor yet. So it's pretty janky right now. So you may see me because I talk with my hands. You may see my thumb and my middle finger is kind of weird. So sorry about that. Let me get this Zoom together so I can actually see what's going on. Hey, some more. I see Tennessee Frank. What's happening? Always good to see you, sir. Sharfarme, Nathan. Good to see you guys. I'm going to try and share my screen in a minute. But let me just say, for me personally, I have not purchased anything for Prime Day. Now, something that I do need, I need some more USB-C chargers. I had a USB-C charger break on me, like a wall outlet to dual 60-watt output. I talked about this. This is some juice. This is juice my wife made. We have recently gotten into juicing, so it's pretty good. But I haven't taken the time to start looking into this stuff. And plus, money's been really snug around these parts, so I'm not necessarily fiending to like buy anything or spend any coin on anything. But I was watching Jason Noy's video and he talked about a couple of different things that he came across. He actually had a coupon 5% off on EcoFlow. I'm not sure if that's still live, but if you guys are interested in any EcoFlow products, he has 5% off. Did you guys check out his video, his live stream he did where he talked about some deals? It was an interesting one. I'm actually watching it right now. I was watching it today. That's what's up on my screen right now on my little joint. But it's been a while. I feel like it's been a minute since I've been live. What's going on with y'all? Let me see here. I cannot see this. Yeah, it has been a long time. Some more. What's happening? Let's see. I got in on one of the eco-worthy 100-watt panels for $60. Did you get one? Is that all you got? And did you grab it just because it was cheap, or did you grab it because you needed it and you could use it? I actually saw your latest video. I may have commented on it. Yeah, you was talking about parallel and stuff like that. Also picked up a $30 charge controller that's 30 amp for $9. Oh, interesting. Is it MPPT? What's up, Delgado? Also, since you guys are here, before we get into it, another thing is a little housekeeping. My wife and I are probably going to go live tomorrow on our family channel. Our family channel is called The Riches Revealed. Some of you guys like hanging out with me and the missus in a more like non-solar fashion. So we'll probably schedule that up and do that tomorrow, kind of around the same time. So that'll be a good time to hang out with her and chat it up with you guys about a couple things. Just the one, yep, because it was cheap. I ain't mad at that. I got a Renogy on sale one year. I think it's for Black Friday. My daughter is having a good time. I got a Renogy panel for $65 one year, which was a good look, and I bought it for that reason. It was just, $60. Okay, let's share. What is going on here? Present. Share screen. Did y'all figure it out? But okay. Let's do window and then here and then share. We're going to add to stream. These are in no particular order. I know Jason was talking about the deal on the EcoFlow River Pro. Hopefully, it's in one of these tabs. He was saying that that was a better deal than this one. This one is sitting at $358. It's normally like $499, right? Which is not that great. I have beef with EcoFlow over this 12 volt section right here not working well. Y'all may have seen the videos. The whining noise is obnoxious. The fan noise is obnoxious as well. It's a whole thing messing around with them, but it is on sale. Now, I like the device. He talked about Jason Noy, the EcoFlow River base model. Let me see if I can pop this one up. Is it in this listing? The base model is 180. Now, I don't know how I feel about this one. I don't particularly like this device. I think it was a step backwards. It is not as capable as the first EcoFlow, but 180, I don't know if that'll change my mind. It's an interesting device. It has 60-watt bi-directional, which is cool. I'm a fan of that. But it only takes in about 100 watts of solar, and it has a 300-watt inverter. It was just I'm not a fan of it. It also doesn't have any barrel connectors, and it looks kind of cheap. No cover on the 12 volts, no wireless charging. But for $180, you get Wi-Fi connectivity. You get the ability to use the app on the device, so it's versatile. It has bi-directional charging, one 3-prong outlet. You know what I mean? It's okay for $180. Now I'm gonna contrast that to the EcoFlow Slayer is what I coin it, and it's kind of apropos. Which is the Go? What is it? The All Powers All R600. Let me see if that one's on sale. I think it's like $99. I may have seen it around here. Let's see. That little thing is a monster. To me, it's kind of what the EcoFlow power station should have been. At least one of them. Yeah, it's 199. I think it's normally like what 240, 209, 219 or something like that. So it being 199, you contrast that to the EcoFlow base model being 180. Now here's the downside. Let's get this up here. The downside to this one, no bi-directional charging. You lose out there. It has barrel ports right here on the 12 volt, but they're 5525. So it's like, oh, dang. But the thing can take up to 60 volts of solar. And it has an output on the AC of 600 watts. So it's more comparable to the EB3A in that vein. But it to be honest, I think this is the king. I need to do a video on it. I'm working on that video. It'll be out probably like next week. There's some exciting things about this joint. I think if they made a bigger one of these, if they made a bigger like sizes with that, it would you'd be hard pressed to buy an EcoFlow, any of them. Max, Pro, the base model, it already puts that one in a trash can, in my opinion. That's me. Let me circle back here. I know Tennessee Frank has a video on the all powers. I think you did a video on that, sir. Yeah, you can never have too many panels. I'm kind of over 100-watt panels. I like the 200s. There's a Boujar V200 in here. That's a really good price that you guys should consider if you want a 200-watt panel. I think it's like 135. I just picked up an R600. Hey, Linda Iannoni, what's happening? It's been a minute. How are you? You got the Energizer. I wanted another generator that was economical for me. I have a Jackery and a EB70, so the generator will help out during a hurricane in Florida. So you got the Energizer. I'm assuming what's it called? The Energizer P320. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Which I have. I still like that dip. That 100 watts bi-directional along with a 60-watt non-bi-directional is clutch. Because it's so small and it can charge really fast via 100 watts. It can't charge fast from solar. That's a downside of it. It's LiFePO. Um, it's a nice little device. They actually reached out to me and they wanted me to do a video. And I was like, yeah, I'll do a video on it. Send it over. I have one already, but I bought it myself. I think what they'd be trying to do is to get me to do a video because I have one already, but without sending me something. It's like, you don't get nothing for free in this world. Nah, nah. I mean, you do get stuff for free. That's a very cynical outlook on things. I don't mean that. There are kind people and they give you stuff and it doesn't cost anything, right? So, Energizer's legit. Let's see what else. I will eventually get a more powerful. I will eventually get a more powerful power station with external batteries. I think you should keep an eye on Pecron. Pecron has some interesting things in the budget-friendly department. That's really interesting. I'm intrigued by Pecron. I have the Pecron 600 LFP. I think it's the E600. It's actually charging my AC 200p right here because my AC 200p was running my Xbox over here. I've been playing Power Wash like crazy. I love that game. And it was low on power and it powers this zone. So I had to pump some AC power into it, but it's all from solar. So it's all good. Actually, I'm just putting power back into it because I used it to power the pec run this morning. I was leaving out to go to the office and I knew that the AC 200p was going to get a lot of solar in because I have 1,000 watts on it now. But that dip, Pecron is doing some very interesting and cool things. That's for sure. I'm rocking with Pecron in that regard. Let me see. Let me close this tab. I got a notes tab. All right. Green Power portable power station with 700 watt hours of power. AC and wireless charging is 263 now. That's not bad. That's not bad. I was just talking with my man Wayne about how so we have a couple class of people. Linda Iannone is actually a good example. People who buy stuff for backup power in an economical situation. That's kind of like my lane because that's how I got started into solar. I feel like many of us started that way in solar. So going these, I call them off the beaten path power stations is a good look if you could save some good coin on them. So $263, it's worth the risk in my opinion. You compare that to what? Actually, no. I don't know. Well, 716 watt hours because the Pecron is 614. This Pecron is incredible. It has its shortcomings. We'll talk about that in the video when I do it, but it's $329 on the site. Someone on Jason Noise Live was saying this drops to $299 when you put it in a cart. I've seen it for $299 on eBay, which I think is fantastic. It can take in up to 400 watts of solar. It's a little weird about series, to be honest. I've seen at least a couple people either in the video or in the comments say that they've had issues with series panels because it can take up to 95 volts up to 400 watts, but you seem to run into some issues when you try to put two panels in series. It's very interesting. I actually ran into an issue personally. I don't know if I recorded it, but it caused me to take my panels out of series because I was just wasting power. All right. Let me talk about another deal here. We looked at this one. Again, these are in no particular order. I wonder if I could do this, make this work out a little better. Okay, that'll work. So you got the you got the reigning, I guess, champion, the EB3A for $199. That's only $10 shy what it normally costs. Is there some type of coupon or something here? Nah. The EB3A is cool. I'm a fan. For $1.99, would I rather the all powers? Yes. Yes. But I like the EB3A. I have one. I purchased it with my own money. I was interested in it, and I probably got it at around this price. I may have spent $209 for it, but the ability to take in the 200 watts of solar was appealing to me. That's always appealing. But you got that R600, the all powers. that joint can take in up to, I believe, 300 watts of solar, and it supports up to 60 volts. This is like your normal base model situation where you get about 30 volts max out of it. So you can't put panels in series, which is why that all powers is so versatile. Now, both the all powers and the EB3A, they're both annoying in that they can do so much solar, but they don't have the watt hour capacity to take in that solar, which is perfect for people starting out and they're actually going to use their power stations. Perfect for people like me. I'm that kind of person. If I got solar coming in, when I was first into solar, I wanted to use the power. Now, because I have some bigger power stations and, solar is a little more plentiful, I have more panels, I'm into storing the power, but I'm also into using the power. So, but I try to find this balance of, okay, using the power while also storing the power just in case we lose power. We don't lose power very often, but you never know, man. You never know. All right. And then Buetti has quite a few things kind of going on here. This is their typical thing. There's nothing major here. The AC 180 is still a good look at $800. You can't beat spending $800 for 1800 watts of inverter power. You cannot beat that. And it has 1100 watt hours of power, which is not crazy, but for $800 is a pretty good look. So you could run pretty much anything in your house off of this joint. Now, I mean, the 60-volt input limit, I can't nitpick on that. 9 times out of 10, I guess my perspective is a little skewed because as I get more panels, I started consolidating. So I want more power to go into these power stations. So it'd be nice if it had higher, but most people have like 300 watts of solar. Most people have like a couple 100-watt panels. You may have an extra, like Tennessee Frank bought an extra for himself. So you may have 3 panels, 4 panels. Most people don't have more than 500 watts of solar laying around in the portable power station game. What I mean when I say that is this idea that if you intentionally buy that amount of solar, it's typically because you either have a couple power stations and you're doing the zone thing like myself, or you have a bigger power station. So having 500 watts go into the 180, that's still a good look. It's a good look. It'll be charged up in less than 3 hours if you could max out the power. It's a little bit hard to max out the power. I think this one is rated at 10 amps instead of 8 amps. So that's cool. I'm appreciative of that. And then it goes up to like 50 or 60 volts. Don't quote me on that, but you get the point. They also have, I opened 2 of those. I did. This is interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of buying older power stations. I have an AC 200P. Me and Jason Noy worked out something where he was able to ship it off to me. So shout out to the brother Jason Noy. Um, I have the AC 200P, and my dilemma with that was it was a little bit long in tooth, as they say. It had the 60-watt inverter, the 60-watt USB-C PD. It couldn't take a single panel, a single 12-volt panel, which is annoying. But it's a super capable device. You can get up to 700 watts of solar into it, and it's $1,120 for 2,000 watt hours of LiFePo battery, 700 watts of solar, wireless charging on the top, 6 outlets. It has some interesting little USB ports, and some like, what does it have? Has an interesting little, what is this right here? Over here, this is like RV stuff over here. DC output. It gives you a little bit high. It's not crazy, honestly. I guess it's more so for the amps. Let me see if I can kind of get in on this. 25 amps. It's interesting. I tried using it to charge something, and the charge speed didn't really vary that much. So I don't know, I wasn't really moved because I got all the little wires. I shouldn't say I have all of them. I have a couple of the wires. But for $1,200, is no Wi-Fi connectivity. It's not a smart device. You can't upgrade the firmware. But if you were in a pinch, you think about that compared to the $800 on the AC 180. This is interesting. This is a very interesting $320 difference, I think. You get a little bit less than double the watt hour capacity. You get 200 more watts of solar, and I cannot stress this enough, it has a proper still kind of shaky, but 150-volt solar input limit. So you can put quite a few panels in series on this diff. This thing is interesting. But the AC200 Max is on sale too, which is what I was going to buy when things were kind of like coming out with the Kickstarter and the early release and all that jazz. Hopefully it's next. It is not. What is this? The EcoFlow River Pro. Let me see if I can find the AC200 Max. I think that one's $1,500. Oh no, it's $1,299. Ah, interesting. That's crazy. I thought it was like $1,500. I feel like what Blue Eddie sent me, I think. Um, man, hold on. Let's put this back on the screen. Jeez, look at that. It's like for $1,300 compared to $1,120. You should just buy the AC200 Max. Like, I don't understand this pricing now. I'm so confused. This one, I don't know much about this one in terms of all the intricacies. I know it's 900 watts of solar. It has a 100 watt PD port. I think it has some type of connectivity, Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure it's just Bluetooth. Let me see if I can find the details here. Let me see what's going on with these comments. I'm sure I'm missing out on something. What's up, Dean? Kimber Jack, what's happening? Tech Made Easy. Good to see you. The R600 can take 400 watts of solar. Interesting. You sure about that? I know you got it, but that's. I don't think it was the same as the Pecron. I think the maybe I don't know. Maybe the Pecron outshined it. I don't know what I was trying to figure out here. But yeah, $1,299. This is crazy. Just in terms of like, if you have a need, being able to fulfill that need and to be comfortable, a good amount of solar coming in, a good amount of inverter, a good amount of like watt hour capacity. This is not bad, man. That's not bad at all. Jeez. So we have that. What was next? AC 180, AC 200p. I wouldn't buy the AC 200p, to be honest. That's too close in price for me. Then you have this. This is interesting. $500. It's not. I mean, it's pretty good. I like the EcoFlow River Pro. The downside with the EcoFlow River Pro, though, is they didn't, and I've talked about this before, they didn't differentiate it enough in the solar department from the Max. And I think that was a missed opportunity, especially when you consider the all powers can take in 300 or 400 watts. I'm not sure. The Pecron can take in 400 watts. This one being limited to 200 watts, that's a struggle for me. That's a real struggle for me. But it's about 800 watt hours with 768. It's an 800 watt inverter. So it's a more capable way to spend $500. But I don't know if I would rock with that. Somebody had reached out to me. I think it was Mark. Mark won the bull bet. So shout out to Mark. He won a bull bet power station. I shipped that out to him maybe about a week or two ago. And I think it was, anyway, I'm getting lost in the details. He was asking about the EV70 versus the River Pro. I would definitely go with the River Pro hands down. I mean, the EV70, I have a thing about buying like really old power stations at a not appropriately discounted price. I'm not a fan of that. So the EV70, yeah, I still use it. It's a workhorse, man. It's downstairs right now in my garage, getting 200 watts of solar into it because that's the max that it can take. You contrast that to the EcoFlow River Pro. It has that 50-volt input limit. It's still 200 watts, but that means you can put a couple 100 watt panels in series and you don't have to buy a parallel cable. Yeah, it's interesting. Wi-Fi connectivity, the ability to upgrade the firmware. The fan is better according to Jason Noy's test. The River Max, the fan is trash. The All Powers, the fan is trash. That's why it's kind of like better than EcoFlow, but it's in the same class because that fan is garbage. I'm sure the base model fan is garbage too. So dang. But the All Powers, it's legit. It's legit. So would I spend $500? I mean, I can't ask myself that question. I'm tight with my money. But $500 is okay for the EcoFlow. I'm sure that dip is light. These power stations are getting really light lately. Um, the EB70 contrasted to a lot of this other stuff, it's downright heavy. It was always kind of heavy. So, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Add back. What we got here? This is interesting too. The Anchor joint is $700. This is right in the realm of the AC 180. I don't know much about the Anchor products. I was trying to get caught up on them in the last like 2 months or so. I didn't do a very good job, but it's 1500 watt joint compared to an 1800 watt on the AC 180. Has a little bit more watt hour capacity. It's an interesting little device. I think the AC 180 has 4 outlets. This one has 3 and 3, 3 prongs, 3 2 prongs. $700, man. It's like, being picky, but you can get some pretty capable devices. You can get some pretty capable devices around this time of the year. Spending $700 for, like, why would you just yell? What's up, son? So if you're someone who's like into Anchor, Anchor tickles your fancy. I did like the 767. I don't remember if I liked anything about the 757 in particular. The design is nice. I don't know if it moved me. Anchor's situation with the solar has never been impressive to me. So I'm kind of like always like, eh. But it's the same thing with the AC 180. But at least Blue Eddy has the AC 200P. They have the AC 200 Max that have, really decent 150-volt joints. Let me see what y'all talking about. You posted a link. Yeah, they probably grabbed it and held it back. Let me see. Yeah, they can be weird about links. Higher watt inverter about the AC. I'm sorry, the all powers. It's nice if you're using pass through. That's true. I'm back. Amazon's delivering the orders fast. UPS also. Oh, nice. You got a delivery. What you get? Oh man. I don't have any porch covering, but Amazon and UPS is still delivering regardless. Yeah, I don't know what option they have. They'd have to put it there. Oh, okay. In my house already. Overlord. Yeah, you stacked over there. You doing good. Double check. Okay, it's 400 watt AC and 300 watt solar. My bad. I got you. I thought it was 300. They're pricing low because they consider the AC 200s their lower power stations now. I saw where they said that somewhere. That's interesting. It was probably in those live streams. That guy's voice, man, it's an acquired taste. What's going on, sir? Oh, we getting on the road. Where you headed to? If you don't mind me asking. If you do mind me asking, then don't answer. One nice thing about the R600 was a 300 watt solar input. All my other power stations are 60 to 100 watt. Yeah, we kind of like got a lot of those kind of older, like the Energizer, 60 watts input on the solar. That's where EcoFlow kind of came in with that river and kind of changed things, giving you 200 watts of solar. I had like an old Rock Pals that I gave away to a viewer that I think it had like 100 or something watts of solar. This was 3, 4, 5 years ago. I'm not sure how long ago that was. That was when smaller generators were what we were talking about. Generators. I hate to do that because that's what Will called the video. He called it a micro generator video. I don't get into the argument about power station versus solar generator. I think that's silly to be arguing with people on the internet about that kind of stuff. Like, it's not a generator. It's like, whatever, man. Shut up. All right. So the Delta 2 Max for $1,500. I think this is the one that has the dual MPPTs on the back up to 500 watts. Now, this joint piqued my interest. Um, and the reason why it did, the sale price is what it is. $1,500 is outside of my whatever. I can't spend that much money on a power station. But it's on sale, which is cool. It's a newer device. It has the dual MPPT charge controllers. I like that it had two XT60 connectors on them. And the reason why is because with a situation like that, hopefully the fan is decent on it. I can't remember. I think I watched Jason Noy's video on it. It also has some cool features in the labs joint where you could set automation. You could set solar priority a little bit, depending on percentage. He didn't delve into it too much, but the thing was interesting. The reason why I liked it is because sometimes, like I have to do right now, I have to power dump into my AC200P so it doesn't die. I like that it has two XT60 connectors because then I don't have to disconnect solar to plug 12 volt in, which is why I'm a fan of bi-directional USB-C ports. Because in this situation, with this AC200P, let me tell you how much power I'm using. I have 20 watts coming in, 35 watts going out on AC, and I have 83 watts going out on, 35 on DC and 85 on AC. I wouldn't have to use this big old, actually, where am I at? My percentage is 16%. I'm going to unplug it because I don't want all my power from my background going into my AC200P. I would throw a 100 watt USB-C PD charger on this dip in a heartbeat to give it that 100 watts. And then I could rest assured that I'm using about 80 plus 30. That's what, 130? I'm getting 100 watts, 30 watts against a certain percentage of the battery. That's fine. You could do that all day. 10% of the 2000 watt hours is 200 watts. So even if I was at 5%, sitting at about 100 watt hours, throwing in 100 watts of PD into the battery, compensating for the 130 watt load. And I mean, it's like, I love that aspect of things because I don't have really high draw situations in my home. So being able to throw 100 watts into a power station is actually really ideal for me, except when I'm running an air conditioner. But that's a whole different thing. I got a short coming out about that probably tomorrow morning. Yeah. What you doing, Mama? Oh, you got something on your foot? So this one, I like that one because you could do a 12 volt to XT60 and then you could have your solar still coming in. And the reason why that's important to me is because sometimes when I have to power dump via XT60 on my EcoFlow, I forget to unplug it and plug the solar back in. So then I'm 2 hours down solar in the morning sometimes when I didn't get power because I forgot to plug it in. It doesn't happen often, but it happens often enough to where I'm like, geez, I like that it has the two ports. They're both maxed out at 500 watts of solar. I was not excited about that, but yeah, for almost 2000 for an almost $2,000 power station, I thought that they missed the mark on that one to only get 1,000 watts of solar in. You spend $2,000, you should be able to really kick it in. Now, in terms of series, because 1,000 watts of solar across two MPPT charge controllers is fine. Now, here's the interesting thing. You got to run two cables into your house for that, which is not a big deal, but I've been trying to cut down on cables. And then you compare that to the AC200 Max, it can take in 900 watts of solar, and but it has the 150 volts. So you can do more with that cap than you can with the 50 or 60 volts that's on the whatever this is, the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. But that's me nitpicking at the moment, right? Now this is interesting. This one caught my eye. Nothing crazy about this. Ellie Conto was supposed to send me this one. I wonder if they changed their mind. This is an interesting little device. Now, I was originally about to just straight up be like, nah, I don't really want that one. But I thought about it. I actually like using my smaller power stations. They don't drive me crazy, but this one is 200 watt hours. It would be more akin to like having an updated Bowden's or something like that. The screen is like non-existent for the most part. It only shows a percentage. I don't think it shows solar in. I don't think it shows power out. I do think it has a bi-directional on there, which is cool. You could probably charge this up in like 2.5 hours. It was an interesting dip, but it's $119, 200 watt hours. You compare that with the EcoFlow dip, well, all its fancy smancy for 256 watt hours, but it's $180. This is interesting to me, and it's really small. Somebody did a review on it. Um, I forget what the guy's channel name is. He has like a smaller channel compared to his bigger channel. He has a big main channel, and then he does like solar generator, power station reviews on his smaller channel, which probably has like 10, 7, 8, 5. I don't know how many subscribers he has. Um, the size really compelled me. And for 119, I would love to see this at $99. I think that that's really compelling. But even still, people will struggle. I think it can take in more. Yeah, it can take 100 watts of solar. That's what caught my eye as well. The 100 watts of solar is actually very interesting because very few things this small, like Tennessee Frank talked about, they can take in good solar. So I love my Energizer. I have the Smart List. I have even the Jackery. The Jackery maxes out at about 85, even though I've seen more solar on that. That's interesting. That's another conversation. The Go Labs, the OG Go Labs, still kicking 60 watts of solar. Um, so I got quite a few power stations that I don't put onto solar because they can't take the power in. It's just a waste of a 100 watt panel. A 100 watt panel will probably get about 80. So it's like I'm throwing away 20 watts of solar, which isn't bad. But if I could get the 80, then I'll take the 80 instead of the 60. Interesting little device. I'm gonna follow up with them to see if they can send me one when I have capacity for it because I'm behind on videos. So we talked about this one a little bit. 199 beastie little device, and then this is funny, y'all. This is pure comedy. They selling the OG EcoFlow. Like, what is EcoFlow doing? The interesting thing about this is there's no reason why this should be on sale for $209. It's just ridiculous. Let me see if it's sale from EcoFlow. Maybe I'm bugging. Visit the EcoFlow store. It usually says who it's sold by and delivered by. Where is that at? Anyway, I don't want to waste too much time there. There was one of these on sale locally. It wasn't necessarily close to me, but I was thinking about it in terms of like, man, if I could get that for a good price, it's still a power station that could take in, up to 200 watts of solar. The watt hour capacity. I think it was the upgraded one that wasn't like 278. It was like 3 something. So I was like, didn't I have a 100% battery? Because my EcoFlow is showing its age in terms of its watt hour capacity after those, they say those 500 cycles. It already didn't do well on the watt hour capacity to begin with. And now because I hammered it, it's really only good for pass through. I actually have it out in the yard right now on a Yargo 100 watt panel. Um, because why not? You know what I mean? My AC 200P was struggling today because I ran my AC from it. My AC running from it is a 1,000 watt hit, so but it can get in up to 700 watts, so it's a 300 watt deficit, give or take. So sometimes I do that. I run it for about an hour. I use a timer so that it doesn't run over, so it turns off in an hour. So I was like, well, let me throw the EcoFlow out there to just get some power. If I got panels, I try and use them. Sadly. All right. Now there were some panels that I came across. Actually, let's delve into Pecron a little bit. Pecron is a little bit interesting to navigate because they have LFP power stations and they have non-LFP power stations. So you kind of got to look for this LFP in the name. But this is a Pecron E1200 and this one's sale for $899. You look at that, those prices are like that's like Alcatel on sale prices. Alcatel has dropped down to being about $1,000 when it's on sale, and it was on sale recently. How would I feel about this versus the Alcatel? That's an interesting question. Let me think about that. What does that this one have going on? Okay, so it's 1500 watt hours. So it's not 2000 watt hours. Interesting. 2000 watt inverter. Um, you can add capacity, so it's expandable. 1200 watts of solar charging. This is the kind of stuff I'm impressed with Pecron. You can get 1200 watts into this. I'm sure it has that probably a 95 watt, 95 volt input. Let's see. It looks like it does support dual charging, AC and solar. Let me see if I can find some specs on the solar input. PV input, okay, it still has the probably the 5521. So it has the same 32 to 95 volts, 600 max. Oh, this I think this is the one that has the dual MPPT. Yeah, so you can't really get 1200 watts of solar. I mean, you can, but it's not. It's because it has a dual MPPT. This picture's always funny. This girl with her little booty. Uh, let's see here. I'm trying to get a better picture. Let's do this one. Let's zoom in. Yeah, it has the dual MPPT charge controllers. Now, that's one of the issues I didn't like about the Pecron that I have. It would have been nice if they had 8 millimeter on that dip or 5525 and could take in 200 watts of solar from 12 volts. The fact that they have that beastie MPPT in there that can take in up to 400 watts of solar, but then the 5521 is limited to 100 watts. It's an interesting pairing. It's a pairing I'm glad for because you have options, but it would have been so nice if it could take in up to 200 watts on the 12 volt and 400 watts on the 35 to 95 volt. That would have been cool. Pecron, this 600 joint, let me see, I have that one around here somewhere. Is this one an LFP? No, this is another one. I don't think this one's LFP, so you got to watch out for it. I pulled this up. I'm not even gonna look at that. This one would have been a good candidate for my zone 1, but I can't put a 12 volt panel into it, and all I have up there in my zone 1 is a 200 watt 12 volt panel. I was super excited for putting it up there. I was like, you know what? I'm having problems with this loud but EcoFlow River 2 Max. I'm gonna put this Pecron over here and let it wild out, and I couldn't. Because it's relatively quiet. The only time the fan kind of cuts up is at the end of the day when solar is non-existent. For some reason, the fan blares up, and then you either have to turn it on or turn it off or something like that. It's weird. I think you have to turn it on and then the fan stops. It's a strange thing. It's an interesting little device. What else we got here? All powers. There was some panel deals that I came across that were really interesting, man. Really compelling stuff. Let's get into that. Let me see what y'all talking about. What's up, Tony? Good to see you, man. Carrie Big speaks soft. That's a good name. Joe Tyson, what's happening? Good to see you, sir. I picked up the AC 180, but the AC 200 Max got you with the eyes. I dig that. Let me scroll up. Maybe I missed some comments. Okay, I saw. Oh, okay. Go Labs and the Bibean. 100 watts. But yeah, your video is the one that hit me to that. Tennessee Frank makes content about power stations. He also makes content about that action. You feel me? That's some of his older videos. They pop up in my feed from time to time. I don't think you've done one of them videos lately. Northeast up to Nova Scotia and beyond. Nova Scotia, that's Canada, right? I'm new to this. I'm looking for something that can run my refrigerator, my deep freeze, my modem there, and a power outage that I can keep connected that has a decent solar charging rate. So interesting. Okay. So you want to run your refrigerator and your deep freezer. Refrigerator is going to have a high amp load to get started. But it should use about 150 watts. Deep freezer will probably use similar or less. My chest deep freezer uses about 75 watts, and it's not on all the time. So we'll just call a modem 20 watts. And then here's the thing. Me being the unprofessional that I am, there are people, okay, me being the coin mindful professional that I am, I bought what I could afford. You have some people who are buying what they need. So if you're in a position where you're buying what you need, you kind of have to come to the table with at least like $2,000, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. So if you're talking about running a fridge throughout the night, this is beyond my capacity to like calculate that kind of stuff. But you really just need to multiply the amount of watts that you're gonna put on that dip by the amount of hours you'll get from your watt hour capacity. So if we're looking at 150 plus another 100, let's call a deep freezer 100, that's 250 plus another 50 just to accommodate like TV or a laptop or along with the modem. That's 300 watts. I feel like you would probably want to run that for at least 10 to 12 hours, I would hope, through the night until you can get solar popping again. Yeah, I feel like you just kind of go with that. Then you're looking at what? About 2,400 watts, 2,400 watt hours. And then that's compensating. You have to compensate for the 15 to 20% efficiency loss. So yeah, you will probably need something with an expandable battery. Pecron could be good and affordable. You also have like the AC 300, which is not going to be, it's going to sell too. It's like $2,400 or something like that. Let me look. They emailed me about that stuff. Ready power. Jeez. My finger being all messed up really cramps my style with typing. I'm gonna go to the doctor soon. I feel like poverty mindset makes me not want to go to the doctor because I'm so used to like all my life not going to the doctor unless we absolutely had to, just be growing up as a young, financially strapped black man, a black family. I'm sure my white brothers and sisters can relate to that. Um, okay, I'm over here on the joint, this site, trying to see what's good here. The AC 300 plus a B 300, yeah, it's $22.99, so $2,300, and then you got 300. This is actually kind of perfect. Going with this 3,000 watt hours, yeah, that's kind of what you're looking for. You would need something like this, and then with this AC 300, you have the ability to run two solar strings into it. So you could start off with however many watts of solar you want to put into it. I believe it does have the UPS function. I believe. I'm pretty sure that should have a UPS function on it. So you could always have it plugged into the wall, always providing power. It also has um, some options in the app to kind of help you to prioritize certain things. It's an interesting little device. I love the device. If I could get my hands on that, it would be a interesting time in the household. That's for sure. Oh man, I think what I would do is I would create some kind of string of solar for my AC 200p. Depending on how loud the fan is, man, I would really have to ponder what I would do with an AC 300 and a B 300, because I can throw it into the basement where I can have two strings come into it easily, or I could have it be right here where the AC 200p is, and then I'm just beast mode on my top floor. But what I would end up having to do is to power dump, because if I put two strings of solar, I have a 1,000 watt string of solar that on paper is supposed to produce 5 kilowatt hours per day. I think so. Yeah, I'm not about to think about that now. But this is pretty good. You kind of want something like this, and then you could go the Delta Pro route, which is comparable. I don't click on add links. That's just That's disrespectful. Oh shoot, I'm on an airplane site. It's like DuckDuckGo, man. This search is somewhat anonymous. Somewhat. It's not tracking. It's kind of a little more privacy centric. Um, but their search is not great. So you got the Delta Pro, which is gonna be, how much does it cost? Let's do buy. So this one's not on sale. $3,000. Okay, so it's on sale here for 2,800. So yeah, I don't know. Well, the Delta 2 is on sale. That's interesting. Delta 2 is $699. That's pretty good. That fan is obnoxious, but you should, anybody considering these prices, you should definitely do your watt hour calculation. So that's going to be 1,024 divided by 700, I think. Oh no, 700 divided by, let me just do it now. 700 divided by 1,000 to give you your watt hour cost. I always get confused on that. 700 divided by 1,024. Okay, yeah, that's 68 cents. 68 cents a watt hour. Yeah. So that's an interesting kind of pitch. This one, I think, is the same situation as the Delta Max, where it's rated up to like 50, 60 volts. But it doesn't have the dual. That's actually not bad. What's this inverter? I don't think this inverter is up there. The inverter might be compromised a bit. Let's check. Geez, I don't want this. Dang, I can't. I don't care about app boost runtimes. Who cares? What's the inverter on here? Did I miss it? Okay, yeah. Plug and play. It looks like it's 1,800 watts, but hopefully that's not X boost. So it's very comparable. $699 on the Delta 2 versus the AC 180 from Blue Eddy. That's quite the that's an interesting pitch. Which would I go with? I'm sure the AC 180 is quieter. It's like you have to nitpick about stuff like that at this point. What kind of voltage? Okay, what about the Delta 1300? I'm confused about what's what. At this point, yeah, the Delta lineup confuses me because you got the OG one and all that jazz, the 13 Delta 1300. That's 769. I would have to guess that the Delta 1300 is not LIFO. And I'm looking at it here. Let me pull it back up. Looking at it here, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's saying it's slinging for 769 on Amazon. Let's click it. Yeah. Then you got 6 outlets, 1,800 watts, 1,260 watts. I'm pretty sure this is a older joint. Yeah, it's like it don't make no sense to entertain these because you got the LFP dips that are very comparable. So yeah, charge. This is interesting. $700 versus $800 for the AC 180. All right. Let me see. I want to talk about these panels. This Renogy bifacial for $250. It's a little over $1 a watt, which I've gotten away from. Because I'm into larger panels now. I still need some 400-watt panels, but with the bifacial aspect of this, it's probably going to be a little heavier. They actually reached out to me and was something like they was going to send me something, but I guess it didn't pan out because I ain't heard back from them. 220-watt standard test conditions. That's what STC stands for, but you could get probably like 250 from it. So It's still, but it's interesting. It's newer technology. That panel's going to be a little smaller. It's probably going to produce a little more power than a typical 180, 190, 200-watt panel. So for an extra $50, I don't know if it's worth it, but it's intriguing to me because these bifacial panels are not cheap. But there's some other bifacial panels I have. What? Yeah, that's fine. What happened upstairs, guys?
Y'all wanted to watch Spy and His Amazing Friends.
Is that what Adele's watching? Because y'all can still watch it upstairs. You know where it's at.
Oh, yeah. I guess I can.
All right, so that's that. That's interesting to me. This one has caught my eye a couple times. This is the JJN bifacial. I don't know if I tried to reach out to them or not, but this one's 169, but it's an off the beaten path panel. This is not that crazy. This is not a sale or anything. I've typically seen it for about this price. Can y'all turn that down, please? Okay, that's good. Not too much more than that. Guys, y'all go back upstairs. The boys go back upstairs. Ivan, get Adele squared away. Put something back on for her. Let her pick. And then y'all go back upstairs. Y'all go watch the same stuff she watching down here. I think she's saying Spider. The what? Okay, that's fine. I've seen this panel for about this price, but it's interesting. You definitely contrast it to $249. But are you willing to take the risk on something like this? I'm interested. You got Renergies for $90, not crazy. I've seen them cheaper, but if you're into Renergy, you want some 100-watt panels, that's interesting. Sure. This one is not great either, but it's a few dollars off. If you have a Bourgeois V 200 and you kind of wanted to match it, you could entertain that. Not a crazy deal. There's a Bourgeois V deal in here that was interesting. Now, these folks, the Al Riska, they sent me a panel. I recorded the video. Hopefully the video is sufficient. I feel like it's not sufficient, but I like their little panel. I don't have this one. I have their square. Is it here? It's a square 200-watt. If you remember those old first Bourgeois V 200-watt panels that Hobotech, I don't think he ever did a video on them. Maybe he did, but I liked the look of those panels. And I got kind of something like it with the Al Riska. The panel, it works. I mean, it's fine. It's 200 watts. It performs very similarly to two 100-watt panels, if not a little bit more. So, I mean, and I've had the panel for a good 2, 3, maybe a little longer. And I mean, it's a rigid panel. It works. This one for 160? That's interesting. But you have to think about this stuff as it relates to size. I don't know what the voltage is, but you have to think about it as it relates to size, because when you buy something off the beaten path that has like a different size profile and you start to get more panels, then your panels can start to look like mismatched. So that may be something to think about. But if you just want a 200-watt panel for $160, that's not bad. Adele, take it easy, mama. Thank you. $71 HQST. HQST, some of my first panels were HQST. I think this is interesting. I feel like they may have been a little cheaper, but you get two of them for like $140 shipped with tax. That's okay. It's not crazy. Tennessee Frank talked about what was it called? The ones he got for 60. I didn't see those. I wonder if they're still around. Maybe I saw them. I don't know. This is another interesting one. 170 watts for $123. You would have to do the math to see what panel is better, but it caught my eye as well. Another one from Al Riska. The thing that I find interesting with these 170, 150 watt panels is they'll be a little bit smaller. So it's kind of like a niche thing where it's like, do you need if 200 watts is too big for your area, a 170, a 150, a 180 may be a little smaller. But what I have found sometimes, looking at the Bourgeois V180, it's almost the same size as my 190s and my 200s. So this one probably measures a little bit smaller. So it's an interesting thing to consider. You would have to kind of dig in and look at measurements and all that jazz. Interesting joint. That joint for me is working. This is the one that really caught my eye. Now this panel is on sale a lot, but I don't know if it's ever been this cheap. If you're curious about how cheap it's been, you can grab the link. I don't grab all of this foolishness as a part of the link. I stop about right here. Product name and then that code. And then you can go to camel and see. Dang, I don't feel like typing this. My freaking fingers all jacked up. Control Enter still work. Let's see. 169, so 170. Let's look at some histories here. The lowest is 135. So yeah, third party use, who cares? So about $135 is the typical low going rate on that one. And I don't have a 180 watt Bourgeois 5 BB panel. I have a 9 BB. You can see that this is the 5 BB, but it should perform fine. I 135 bucks for almost 200 watt panel. They perform comparably, to be honest. You know, 200 watt panel, 190, 180, it's all going to get you like a 135, depending on where you are, 145, 150 if you're, you know, I guess in a climate that produces pop and sun. This is interesting. I'm not a big fan of Dokio, but it's a rigid panel. It's probably made in the same factory that everything else is, but it's 67 bucks. Was $68 compared to 72 for the HQST. A couple of these. The good thing I like about the one thing that I like about getting these panels at $67, $70 is what you're actually getting is $1 a watt for real output versus spending $100 on a 100 watt panel and getting 79 watts, 80 watts, 67 watts, depending on how you angle it. I like that. $67 for 68 watts. I'm not mad at that. Even if it performs 6 to 7, 8 watts shy of what a Renogy or EcoFlow or who's another main panel maker. I don't think anybody's more expensive than Renogy, to be honest. EcoFlow's panels are pretty expensive. I was about to say Bourgeois. Their 100 watt panels. I like their 100 watt panels size wise, but they go on sale from time to time, but they're not typically cheap. And then 9 BB panels. Okay, what is this? Why did I open this? This is weird. 129. I don't know why I opened this. Is it for 2? I wonder if it's because it's black. It's a very, I don't know why I opened this. I'll look at that later. That's weird. Now this 12/7 panel. I'm sorry, I wasn't showing you that. My bad. Let me go back and show you what I was talking about. This is the Alriska. I don't know why this is in my lineup. It's a prime deal for 129. Oh, okay. Prime deal exclusive. You could jump in for 66. Oh, okay, cool. Just a little black panel. Now, back in the day, Solar Will did not like black panels with the black frames because he said they ran hotter. I don't know. The Alriska I had, the 200 watt, is black like this, and it runs fine. I don't know if that's still a thing. Maybe it was a thing back then, which I think those videos are like 4 or 5 years old. I don't mix browsing sessions, but I'm gonna go to youtube.com here anyway. I keep Google separate from Amazon, from Facebook. All of them live in different browsers, so they can't cross feed each other information. How old were these videos he did way back when? Yeah, I thought about 4 years old. You can see he has like a black one in that dip in the spread. I wish he did more of these videos, but who's buying a whole lot of 100 watt panels these days? Everybody's kind of moved on to bigger and better things, especially in the YouTube space. We talked about that. We talked about that. Talked about that. Oh, this one, I don't have experience with this one, but man, his name escapes me. All in the Soil, I believe. All in the Soil. I think early on he liked this panel. I would say based on his experience with it, I would compare it to like a Elicanta or a Balder or something like that. But Jason Noyes said he had a video recently where he may have had one of these and compared it. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But the $130 caught my eye. And that's typically what a lot of these 100-watt panels are dropping down to. They used to be $2 a watt. A good deal was getting one at like 180, 169, 149, but they're getting down to 129, 139. I don't think I've ever seen one at like 119. Hopefully that time is coming where portable panels are just affordable. But this one's interesting. It's decent looking. Got a bunch of connectors on it. Those cables look a little sketch, but planes on a snake. And that's it. I think that's everything. We deal with Pecron. Now Jason in his video, he talked about Ugreen. Ugreen in particularly, I watched a couple of the reviews. This is what it is. Because the devices are nice, but when they don't have that bi-directional charging, it's like, dang, it drops my hopes a little bit. But digging into a device from that, once I get over that disappointment, I feel like those devices did a lot of things well. Definitely did a lot of things well. And he said they were kind of on sale or something like that. But I don't know. Would you buy a Ugreen? I like Ugreen as a company. They kind of modeled behind Anchor. I for a long time I would buy Anchor before I bought Ugreen, but now I just feel like it would be whoever is cheapest. 1200. Somebody actually emailed me from them, but they be fishing, man, and they're not always committed like you read about. Let's see here. Once you go black, that's funny. Now my comments aren't updating here for some reason, so I got to jump over here and look at their latest comments. Dang, man. I got a bunch of comments that didn't come through. What the heck is going on? Yeah, I'm not seeing any of my comments. Oh, but it's fine. No biggie. I can just jump over here and look at it from here. Let's see. And I'm on a delay. All right. Let's see. What's up, Chris? The eco-worthy at $60 was a great deal. Yeah, it's a good deal. All right. See, like I said, $60. Even if you get 60 watts out of the dip, you're doing fine. It's fine. 60 watts, $60, and you're probably gonna get a good 80 watts out of that dip. Yeah. What HQST do I have? Are you talking to Tennessee Frank? Or are you talking to me? I had two 100-watt HQST panels. I still have one that I bought. I sold my two initial ones locally to a viewer. Let's see. So I only have one of those. Mocat solar outdoor lights are a good deal at $30 for two. I'm not into like solar powered lights and stuff like that. I'm not a fan. What's up, Mo's Prep and Tech? I got tired of small panels though. and went with Sun Gold panels. They have free shipping on large panels and you don't have to order a pallet. Interesting. I feel like you talked about them before and I went and looked at them, but the prices didn't move me. Get a watt meter and see what your power needs are. Okay, you must be talking to Carrie Big speaks off. Yeah. My refrigerator pulls 117. Dang, my comments still didn't update in the main chat. So I can't put them up on the screen. My refrigerator pulls 117 watts with the doors closed. Oh, interesting. 235 watts with both doors open. I've never seen anybody test that with the doors open. That's very interesting. A refrigerator doesn't run constantly, says Tennessee Frank or TN.Frank. So that helps with the watt hours. Yeah, it certainly does. EcoFlow Rever 179 and EB3A at 199. The EB3A is the better purchase for sure, hands down. The EcoFlow River base model only gets 100 watts of solar and only has a 300 watt inverter. And the EB3A has 200 watts of solar, kinda, but it'll get more than 105. I think I've seen, you get about like 140, maybe a little higher because of the 8 amp input limit. And it also has a 600 watt inverter. Both of them have UPS, but the EcoFlow has bidirectional charging. The EB3A does not. Linda Iannone says some of my white brothers and sisters can relate to being financial. You have a face there. What's that face about? Oh yeah, getting down to the grit now. The thing about that is like, man, it's interesting to struggle as a community, right? But then struggle, and then that struggle is across the board for pretty much everybody who looks like you. I was born in the 80s, so the things are kind of like trending more equal, kinda. But yeah, we have a lot in common, but it's just the scale by which Black folks experience poverty is so high. That's really the issue. It's not that white folks don't experience poverty, or anybody for that matter. But yeah, dang, is mine? Oh, okay, this is not. Let me speed this up. All right, it was way delayed because my playback was lost or back. Okay, what's up, Nick? The Delta Pro is pretty outdated. Yeah, you're right. It has been out for a while. They should be coming out with a Delta Pro 2 anytime now. If you just had to think about it, you got the Delta 2, you got the Delta 2 Max, you got the EcoFlow River 2, 2 Max, 2 Pro. The Delta Pro is due for one. I wonder what they're gonna do there. I wonder if that device is gonna be lighter. I guess I could bring this back over here. Why am I looking over there, being all weird? I could be right here. No, I can't see no more. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. Um. Okay, Tony Montana saying the AC180 is better. The AC180 at $799 is better than the EcoFlow Delta 2 at $699. Can you quantify that for me a little bit? Yeah, that's all good. Carrie Biggs, Speed Saw says he's about a minute or so behind. That's fine. I dig it. Sharfar made it saying the AC300 does have UPS. Yeah, I didn't get any of these comments in my actual StreamYard stream. My bad, guys. That's what I bought. A Delta 2 with another EcoFlow 8% discount. That's a good look if you could take more problem. Delta 2 plus EB is $1,000 at Home Depot. What do you mean? Delta 2 plus EB. Okay, you got to clear that up for me. The Bluetti has a nicer form factor. I could get behind that. The AC180 I think is nicer to look at. I believe all of its plugs are on the front now, which is interesting. I talked about the AC180 in the live stream that I did, where I talked about a couple of quirks that I had with it. How often do you keep your solar panels clean? I don't clean them very often. I'll get out there with just a paper towel and some water and wipe them down from time to time. But I don't clean them a whole lot. Only the Delta 2 series and Delta Pro series in the Delta series is like, well, thanks, Dean. Nick says, I will not touch any lithium ion power stations. Lithium ion power station is so much better. You get a lot more cycles for your money. Now, I agree with that from a value standpoint, but I have really, listen, I'm in the LIFO party 100%. But I tell you what, when I grab a lithium ion power station and it's so much lighter than the other one, now this could be compared to some of my older power stations because I have a couple older LFP power stations. When I grab those lithium ion ones, they're so light. And they're getting up there. They're not at 500 cycles anymore. They'll do like 1,000, 800. I've seen someone like 1,200. So it's an interesting thing. But the LiFo power stations, the newer ones, are getting lighter, and you get 3,000 cycles. There's no argument there. The cycle count, I mean, it's definitely a good look. But man, when I gotta carry one of them dips, I feel it. I think about some people who are like older, more fragile. They have multiple floors. I have a basement, first floor, and top floor. And a lot of times I have to power dump down in my basement to bring power stations up to my top floor, and it gets real. Now I don't carry around those 2,000 watt hour joints. Those joints are stationary; they don't move. But you know, 500, 700, 1,000, watt hours. It's yeah, man, it gets real. I also have probably 20 plus power stations. So you're gonna risk it on the Alriska. Eco worthy. $69 with a $10 coupon for $9.99 for 100 watt. Gotcha. Thanks. That's funny to read your comment again, Dean. Anyone that hasn't smashed the thumbs up yet, please do. Yeah, smash the thumbs up button. Sure, go for it. I'll do a test on mine when it gets here. Should be July 20th. Oh, your panel. Okay, I got you. EcoWorthy has these 100 watt folding panels that kind of look like a. It's an interesting thing that they have going on. My man Wayne actually grabbed a couple. I was intrigued by them, but I wasn't gonna buy one. Um, but they're like bifold panels, but they kind of don't have a typical case around it. They're just kind of like two panels kind of slapped together by like some brackets or material in some capacity. I have my light set on dim until the motion sensor it tripped. It came on full. Oh wait, what you talking about? Oh yeah, Jason Oy is doing a comparison video on something. What's up, MAH? FL? I had bought the Anchor 757. We was just talking about that one a little bit. And 521. The 555, I believe I was interested in because it had bi-directional 100 watt charging. I'm a big fan of that on 1,000 watt hour power stations now. I feel like if it's 1,000 watt hours or less, it should have bi-directional charging on a USB-C 100 watt port. The all power 200 watt solar charger found your advice. Okay, from you, my advice. Okay, yeah, I hammered my all powers. It's outside every day now, and it feels it. It's not getting as great a solar output on it, which is to be expected because it's a folding panel. I don't think that dip is even ETFE. I think it might be PET, and I hammer it. I just leave it out there. Winter, summer, rain, I don't care. It's waterproof, so it should be fine. But it's starting to experience struggle. Thanks, Linda. At your gotcha. Speaking the truth, my friend, really appreciate the social justice vibe. Speaking as a Chicana from East LA, that's Chicano. I appreciate that. Yeah, I listen. I don't mind talking about race. Everyone is not equipped to talk about race. That's really the problem. But I'll talk about all of it: race, politics, God. I don't care. But they have four settings. Setting two. I need some really nice lights for outside, but I'm not really the biggest fan of solar lights. I just would be annoyed when the batteries needed to be changed out. That would be my only struggle. I only got 124 out of it though. I'm assuming you're talking about the all powers. I seen 124 out of mine for sure. But it really depends on your conditions because once that heat gets to it, you never know how that's going to impact it. Okay. I was talking about U green for a second. So dang, my comment still didn't update. Let me see if I could change this. Banner, comments, brand. Nope, these comments are just not going to update. These comments out here living a thug life. All right, U Green. That's not bad, but you put it in perspective, right? I'm about to show y'all in a second. You got U Green out here on sale, 1,200 watt inverter, 1,000 watt hours, but it's $800. Like you get the AC 180. Now, the AC 180 is on sale. That's the problem. What does this one retail for? $9.99. Yeah, that's tough. You green out here wilding at $1 a watt hour. Um, like I said, I haven't paid very close attention to the reviews on this. I kind of casually consume information, but then I also have to consume information from a standpoint of, okay, if I was to buy this, or if I have it in hand, then I can kind of see the benefits a little bit better. um, yeah, it's kind of hard to justify. Maybe the size is a good option. Generated for outdoors, camping home, maybe, but it's like 749. Depending on what your goals are, it'd have to be a little bit cheaper than that. You got the AC 180 at 799. You got the Delta 2 on sale for 699. That's not very competitive, you green. I hate to tell you. Okay, what we have here. I lost my license twice because I like to race. Oh, really? Is this live yet? Go live, clown. What you doing? I bought the Anchor 521 to just power my workstation during power outages. And when we unplug due to lightning, oh, that's interesting. I don't really unplug stuff due to lightning, but a lot of my stuff is on solar anyway. It's on power stations anyway. I feel you. Sometimes I do unplug stuff because of the power surge, but then some stuff has surge protectors. That's interesting. But most of my stuff is on power stations. Oh man, thanks. How's it going? Thank you for that. How is it going? It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I recorded the Yargo video, the 100-watt power station. I think I'm gonna do the All Powers power station next. Then I'll do the LumaPal 1000. Then I'll do the GoPort, Go for it. I don't know. I still need to do the Pecron video. But when I did that Yargo video, it felt good. I be struggling sometimes because I think what I do is I get away from my roots of why I started this channel. I started this channel to be able to talk about power stations like a real person to a real person. I'm not necessarily the biggest person about testing, and specs are important, but it's like it's those intangibles that are important to me. Like what side are the outlets on, or the upside down? When you use it, what's it like to use it? What you know what I mean? It's like those type of things are really important to me, because outside of a power station just not working, outside of a power station just sucking overall, um, I expect it to be able to work, but then it's those nuances like, okay, for example, the XT60 port on the All Powers R600 is vertical, and the AC port is vertical. I I didn't know that. No reviewer I don't think has showed it, or I haven't paid attention to it. I like to know stuff like that. The Pecron with its 100-watt solar port, like just the thought of, man, it would have been better if it had an 8 millimeter or a 5525 that could do 200 watts. That's how my brain works. I want to know, okay, cool, I could get 100 watts on the Pecron, but I can't get anything else. I think that's important. But that's how I am. I like to be able to talk about the power stations like that. And what I've been doing is I've been trying to be I've been getting paralyzed and trying to be too many things to too many people. What I need to do is just get back to like, let's sit down and talk about this power station, talk about the features and the implications of those features. For example, I'm not a pros and cons guy, but Hobotex videos, I mainly I watch some of them. I watch them on 2x and so on and so forth. Some of them are just too long for me. But you know that testing takes time. I get it. The pros and cons are the most interesting part of the video to me. I like that part. Will did a good job early on when he used to do more power station videos of balancing between like reviewing the product and just talking about the product practically. And I feel like I need to just stick with my lane, which is what I want my lane to be, which is talking about products practically. I'm thinking about I need to redo my banner because right now my banner is like, simple solar for beginners like me. But what my channel is more so about now And what it was kind of also always about is real life with solar power. Real life with like portable solar power. That's really what I show. What are the real life, real world implications of having these devices and using them and kind of getting a feel for them and so on and so forth. I'm in the StreamYard joint, so I can't see no comments. I need to go to the other side. What I need to do is put StreamYard over here so I can see myself. Then we're gonna minimize here, and then we're gonna maximize here. I actually also have this panel here. All right. Oh man, thanks, Dean. You and the guys with the coins. I appreciate that greatly, man. $5. The generosity of people goes a long way. Thank you. Thank you, and WAH or MEH. No, what was it? Yeah, MAH, Florida. I appreciate it greatly. Uh, uh, okay, I lost. Boom. Weather station, not workstation. Oh, okay. Well, hold on. Let me see that. Cassettite from Settite's Tech Homestead Tech Adventures. He has like a weather station. Kind of want to read the joint again to understand the context, but I don't see the comment. Jeez. Okay. Right, right. Support. I did a video on solar connections. I couldn't find one on YouTube, so I made one. You talking about the video where actually hold on, let me see. Go to channel. I'm so glad they added that option back because you couldn't do that for the longest time. Always double check cables, solar power station, and panel connections. Is that the one you're talking about? Let's copy. This is Tennessee Frank's video on solar connections. Y'all should go check it out. Tennessee Frank, that Babine, I think it's the Babine. It's now Alcatel or it might be FF Power, but the CN505, he's the one that kind of let me know that that power station. They actually contacted me about that power station, and I would do a video on it because I'm still intrigued by it. I think it has 614 watt hours of power. It can take in 100 watts of solar, which Tennessee Frank said he couldn't get more than 80, which is disappointing. But it's also a 5521 port, which I like. I like power stations with 5521 ports, or rather, old Ive likes power stations with 5521 ports because that was kind of my first really getting into power stations. I think, yeah, the Bowdens had 5521, the Golabs was 5521. Many of my power stations were 5521, so I was a fan of that. Oh, Hector, man. Hector dropped a dub on your board. I appreciate that greatly. Thanks, Hector. Shout out to my Chicano. You feel me? Thank you very much. I'm appreciative. But he was telling Tennessee Frank was telling me that the dip in the video was 80 watts. So I was like, that's interesting. What else do I have? I have the LumaPal is a 5521 and it can take 140 watts of solar in, which is bananas. 5521 was typically reserved for like low solar input. I don't know how they did it, but it can take in 140 watts of solar. I don't know if I've ever hit that because my panels lay flat and I don't know what my latitude and longitude is, but my panels just don't be banging. They don't be going hard in the paint like I want them to for some reason. I don't know. It's confusing, but what are you gonna do, right? All right, let's do this. Anybody have any questions? I love the small form factor of the CN505. I also like that it's vertical. It's a long power station instead of a wide one. I think that that's interesting. When you start getting into having multiple power stations, you kind of start to have a feel for like, oh, this would be nice if it wasn't this. For example, this AC200P couldn't work in my zone one because it's too wide. I can't fit it over there. It's too big. I'd have to pull something up off of the wall, and then a cable kind of comes in on one side, and it's a whole thing. I will tell you this little bonus situation. Blue sent me the AC60 and the B80. I was shocked. I didn't believe it. I don't believe a lot of people is going to send me stuff that say they're going to send me stuff. I'm a kind of person where I believe it when it's on my doorstep or you send me the tracking number. So I have the AC60 and the B80. Every other Blue power station I've had thus far, I had to pay for. I've gotten it at discounted prices because I was a YouTuber, but they took my coins. This one, they just sent it to me. I have to do the video on that one soon. It's an interesting little device, that's for sure. I have one particular feature that I really, really like about it, and I'm gonna talk about it in the video. But it's pretty cool. Hey, Grand Acres, good to see you. I picked up a multi-connector. That's MC4. Most of what you need to connect. What's up, Buck? I finally pulled the trigger on the Petgrind 600 at Walmart. Wow, interesting. I also picked up one of those. Now, those multi-head joints, very convenient, extremely. One thing I don't like about them, and that's just me and my pickiness, is they make the cable heavy. So in certain situations, I don't like that joint where it's hanging on my wire. My LumaPal down in the basement has a 4-way on it. My first 4-way. My 8mm got burnt up. You guys may have seen the short, but then it has Anderson 5521 and MC XT60, I think. And when I plug it into that power station, all that weight of those extra cables and that little junction box that's on it, it causes the cable to hang down. So I've actually been thinking about, do I still have it over here? Yeah, give me 1 second. I actually been thinking about using this cable. This is one of my long MC4 to 5521s. I love this little cable, but it's a super thin cable. It came with a 50-watt Renogy panel, but because of the length, I love it. It's a really long MC4 cable. I don't think you could find an MC4 to 5521 that's this long. I thought about putting this down there. I also have other MC4 to 8mm cables that I could use. But I have the 4-way down there for now. And I really like having the LumaPal down there because it's 1,000 watt-hours and I don't have to worry about it getting full. 200 watts of solar is going to produce about 1,000 watt-hours. 100 watts of solar, 500 watt-hours. 1,000 watts of solar, stop please, is what? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like I said earlier, about 5 kilowatts of power. I'm watching you. You gonna cut some paper? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. What's up, C Holmes? Oh man. A tip for those is to cover the unused connectors with vacuum plugs. I did a video on that too. Vacuum plugs. What's a vacuum plug? I don't understand. So are we. Posted a link. Yeah, you can't post links. They're not letting them to come through. Which video is it? I'll share it here too. I still have your page up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. So after this is over, I'm gonna try and see if I could find me a USB-C charger for the low. But other than that, I think I'm good. Do I want another 180 watt panel? No. Every time I try to come to terms with buying a 180 watt panel, a 200 watt panel, I think like you could put that money towards like a 400 watt panel. Now my area doesn't have a whole lot of used panels. I was blessed. It's not a term I use. I was fortunate to find these 300 watt panels I got recently. I got those at like less than 50 cents a watt. And they work really good. I got some content coming related to those and some issues that I thought I was having with the panels, but the panels are actually working out pretty good. Juice is really good, but just that last little bit is all the juice stuff. Oh, really? Quick tip on protecting your tips. Let me see. See if we can find that. Let's just do tips. Share, copy, paste. Here y'all go. That's Tennessee Frank's video about protecting your tips with vacuum plugs. Let's see what you got going on, MAH. You have a video about what? I love when y'all have videos, man. It's really cool. Because then I get a voice. I don't necessarily remember that voice, but it's always cool to hear your voice. Um, and, you know, of viewers instead of the text all the time. You're welcome, sir. My pleasure. I have a video of my setup if you want to view it. What's the video? I see. Okay, the Anchor 757 and the all powers 200-watt panel. Boom. We're gonna grab that link, copy it, and paste it. If anybody is interested, y'all could check out MAH Florida or My Florida. What else? What else? What else? Nope. No. Get down. You take off all those markers and you never put the caps back on. Come on, get down, mama. Thank you. 1 second, guys. I'm gonna have to deal with this after the live. It's so freaking many. All right, beautiful people. Quality looks a little ashy here. Is that what it looks like? Actually, doesn't look great here. It looks great over there. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna try and find me a USB-C charger because that one that died on me. I wish I had thought about it because I would have emailed the company and told them about it. But I was so disappointed. Not like overly emotional or anything like that, but I was just like, dang. Another one bites the dust that I threw it in the trash. And then like a day or so later, I was like, man, I should have kept that. I should have emailed them. I still need to email NOCO because my battery clamp to 12-volt connector, it broke. It stopped working. I need to email them to see if they'll replace it. I still need to email Jackery. It's like, man, I'm slow with a lot of stuff. It's like it'd be taking me forever to ship y'all power stations out. But it takes me forever to do a lot of stuff, even stuff for me. You okay? Grant Akers could tell you. She was trying to send me coins for the power station that she won. And I was impressed for that. So it was just like, I be having so much going on, man. It's like mentally occupying, not busy, but just occupying. You want to say hi? What's happening? Nothing? I got to see little mama. Yeah. She has the cutest little voice. Yeah. All right, we need to get food going. All right, y'all be beautiful. And I'm out. Yay. Bye.